Sweet smell of Valentine's Day in the air. Just one of our most chaotic holidays here in America. I'm Taylor Ursula. I felt like this was a great opportunity to check in and do a little tarot pull. We tend to have some very high expectations for Valentine's Day. We tend to want to know what to expect, what's coming up. So, best way to do that is by looking at a little bit of the astrology that we have going on this week, and then pulling a few cards around some of those transits. So, let's dig in. First up, and I'm sure some of y'all, most of y'all, many of y'all have been hearing about this. We have Venus conjunct Neptune. All right. Everyone's like, it's so dreamy. It's amazing. It's a fantasy. Yes, it is. It is a fantasy. So, what lies beyond the fantasy? What does the fantasy mean? This is sort of very perfect, if you will, Valentine's Day energy, because we are full of ideals. We are full of fantasies. We're full of dreams, expectations, things we want to see, things we want to feel, things we want to experience, things we want people to say, things we want people to give us. Okay, so the vibes are there, absolutely. What is it going to mean though? This happens very late Tuesday night, very early Wednesday morning. So it's definitely something we're building up to on Valentine's Day. We're like, where's the big reveal? Okay, where is like the thing that I wanted? Amazing. So that's happening Wednesday. On Wednesday later in the day, we have Mercury squaring the nodes. It's also Mercury's day. Wednesday is ruled by Mercury. For those who don't know, planets rule days, right? So Mercury's day on Wednesday, we're going to have Mercury square the nodes, which means that something, some decision, some choice will perhaps reveal itself to us in a way that, however we choose, stands to change our path in some way. Kind of like mysterious vague vibes. I know the nodes are energyless, right? So we don't necessarily know what it feels like when those choices reveal themselves, unless the one feeling that really comes up is uncertainty. This is different. I'm going to choose something different than what I'm used to. Is that something I'm comfortable with? Am I okay not being comfortable for a moment? Am I okay wanting something driven by the Venus Neptune fantasy, perhaps? Am I okay wanting something and needing to make a different choice in order to maybe bring it to fruition? I don't know. You tell me. Okay. So the next day, the sun is going to meet Saturn, which kind of reveals to us, this is Saturn's final conjunction with the sun in Aquarius for the next 28 or so years. So this may be kind of a big reveal in terms of what Saturn has brought to us in this time, what kind of structures we've built under Saturn's watch, or maybe what kind of responsibility we've had to take on in this time. So that may be connected to the visions and the dreams of Venus and Neptune. What kind of responsibility do we need to take on in order to bring that to life? Especially if we're changing course, perhaps. What kind of responsibility comes with making changes in our lives? Or maybe it's what kind of structure have we built that supports the changes that I want to see coming into my life now? And let me become aware of this and acknowledge this. And we've got Mercury sextile Jupiter happening on, I believe that's Thursday, which is very cute. And that's on Jupiter's day. And so that's an opportunity to take an idea, especially one born from the changes, the new directions we're taking, and to expand upon the possibilities. All right, I've hit a new path. I'm onto a new idea. Where can this take us, right? Jupiter's here to kind of make things bigger and show us what's possible. Just diving into the potential a bit. And then lastly, we've got Venus's final Venus day, Friday, in Pisces, her sign of exaltation, and she'll be at her degree of exaltation. So this is really a day where we can make some connections happen. We can bring some of those dreams to the forefront and maybe see what we're able to make of them, who we can talk to start getting those ideas percolating. And we end the week with a new moon in Pisces, So beautiful, so divine. It is Venus's final day in Pisces, so we get to kind of have a little send off. And with that, we've got Venus sextile Pluto at the 29th degree of Capricorn, right? So Venus at the 29th degree of Pisces, Pluto at the 29th degree of Capricorn, some sort of deep, pervasive message about how we relate to others coming up, maybe power dynamics becoming evident to us, how we connect with other people, what that brings up for us, how we interact. So we've got some new energy coming in, some new possibilities coming through, some fantasies that can be grounded if we're able to kind of see what it takes to make that push, to make that happen. So let's go ahead and pull some cards and see what they have to say about this week. Okay, so let's get started. And the prompts that I've come up with are all based upon some of these transits that we've just discussed. So we're going to be looking at what that Venus-Neptune ideal or fantasy looks like. We're going to look at how Saturn comes in as a structure that we've built that supports this exploration, or perhaps a responsibility that comes with grounding this fantasy. We're going to see which one of those comes up for us. We're going to look at an idea or an approach that has the potential to deepen our connections now. And lastly, we'll take a look at interpersonal power dynamics that are rising to the surface for us to become familiar with now. Super casual power dynamics. Just talking about Pluto, super casual stuff. Okay, so let's get a look at what this week is bringing us. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay. All right. I love this. Okay. An ideal about love I would like to explore now or embrace is the Knight of Wands. Okay, this is extremely expansive energy. I literally want to get into this hot air balloon and take flight, is what this card says. I have felt the passion within me stir. I have felt it conjure up ideas for me about what's possible. And now I'm interested in taking those ideas up, and away. I want to see where we can go with this. This knight is ready to move, ready to make steps, ready to take action. So this might be, I have an ideal of really putting my feelings forth. Maybe not feelings in the way that we typically explore them. That might be more of a Knight of Cups vibe, sweeping someone off their feet, as you will. But the Knight of Wands is someone who has a message, has a passion. So maybe we're talking about love itself. Maybe we're not even necessarily kind of embracing a personal love, but we're exploring what the potential of love is and where it has the capacity to take us. Maybe this is a big picture idea of love that we're looking at here. Maybe we're reminding ourselves of what love really means at this time. Okay, so let's see what we have here. All right. Okay. Wow. So with the Nine of Cups, we have a card of wishes that sort of comes true based off of what we've put into our journey leading up to this point. In the Eight of Cups, we walk away from something that we've emotionally invested in. It's hard, it's difficult, it's painstaking at times. We question whether or not it's worth walking away because of what we've put into it. But when we walk away from what no longer serves us, we open ourselves up to the bounty of the Nine of Cups. We walk away from what no longer serves us and we make room for what we're truly wishing for. We make room and space for what we're really hoping to hold in our hearts. And so it is a risk that comes with a big payoff. I love that. So this is a structure that we've built that supports us in this exploration, is this willingness to walk away from what doesn't serve us in order to make room for what does. That's a very Saturnian lesson. Let's be honest. Saturn is all about telling us
teaching us, showing us, taking away from us sometimes, but really asking us to question what is important to us. We only have so much time in this life. That is true for all of us. And so Saturn has asked us in these 3 years in Aquarius to walk away from what doesn't serve us in order to make room for what is actually going to be something joyful and meaningful to us. So this is absolutely a structure that we've built that supports us. We've opened ourselves up to potential. We've opened ourselves up to having wishes in the first place. Maybe we're someone, maybe in our experience, we've wished and had it go awry. And so at this time, we've really put in the work to open ourselves up to what our heart desires, which is beautiful. We can think of this too as a responsibility that comes with making this ideal tangible. The responsibility of being open. If I want to parade my views about love, if I want to hop into this hot air balloon and show people what love really means, it also means that I too must have my heart open, right? That is absolutely a responsibility that comes with fortifying this ideal, is being strong and bold and crazy enough, optimistic enough, right? Hopeful enough to open ourselves to hope. I love it. So, looking now at an idea or an approach that has potential to grow and deepen our connections. The Eight of Wands is we're back on the fire, we're back in the passion, and we're sending messages. We are putting things out there. Maybe this is taking a chance, and something tells me that this connects to what we talked about with Mercury squaring the nodes. If we take a chance on something, if we send that message, if we send that text, if we put that message out into the world, it has the capacity to take off quickly. And this is a very Jupiterian energy, absolutely. Putting out one message has the opportunity to bring back several messages in quick reply. So that's pretty cool. I love that. That absolutely shows us how we can connect with other people. Lastly, we're checking out some interpersonal power dynamics that are surfacing for us to examine now. Very interesting. Nice to see an ace when we've had some later stage cards here. So, interpersonal power dynamics that are surfacing to examine now. New tangible possibilities. What happens to us when new possibilities manifest? What happens to us when something new arrives? How does that change how we interact with other people around us? Are we open with other people about what's coming into our lives? Are we called to be more secretive? Do we withhold information about what new possibilities are growing? Do we tend to stay quiet because we are not sure how it's going to turn out? Or are we extremely hopeful and we rush up to meet these new opportunities? How it is that we embrace new potential, tangible potential, not creative potential, right? Let's make sure we differentiate. We're talking about and looking at very tangible, actual happenings here. This can certainly connect with our visions of what we want love to be and what actually happens when love starts showing up. So, what happens to us when something starts to break through the surface? When something that we wished for starts to actually become real? What happens to us? What happens to our sense of power? What changes within us and how we feel capable of interacting with other people? I don't have the answer for this. This is something for you to explore. But in my questions, I certainly felt some of my own gut sort of start to churn. When something new is coming up for me, I do tend to feel perhaps doubtful, perhaps questionable, perhaps uncertain. And that definitely changes how I show up to see, to meet, to interact with other people, especially when it comes to talking about possibilities. And so that's something that I'm going to be exploring. What changes within me when new things emerge and arrive for me? I feel protective. I feel guarded. Does that connect me to the vision that I hold in the rest of this card reading? It certainly brings to mind that I might be hesitant to climb into this hot air balloon, and that might close me off to my sense of optimism if I don't give myself the opportunity to jump in there and see what happens. So I'm curious to hear what comes up for y'all as you think about these questions and these prompts. But I love seeing this. There's not much here that suggests that we need to be cautious, which I really appreciate. I think that's a message we love to see in love. We like to be emboldened and empowered to take risks, to take chances, to declare our emotions, to declare ourselves to people. And that can certainly be a message that we take away from this reading here, especially as we think about Mercury squaring the nodes. Putting a message out there this week might change the whole trajectory of what pathway you think you're following. Think about that. Let me know how it goes.